Hey, what's really good? It's your boy DK, and welcome to my chalkboard of learning. Now, I'm going to share a few things that I've actually been learning over the last week or so, and not only that, it's more or less I could say my life, but specifically it came apparent to me over the last week or so, and I'm just going to be able to share this with you. And I'm not just going to show you pictures of me doing, I don't know, crazy strength training poses or yoga poses, as the ladies like to say. But hey, yes, I can strike a pose. And no, I'm not like any motivational speaker or one of these NLP gurus or anything along those type of lines. I'm just somebody who's a student of life who's been going along, learning these things, and I'd like just sharing my thoughts. So let me start out with this quote. To improve is to change. To be perfect is to change often. And I believe that quote was from, I think, Barack Obama, who's like the first black president of the United States of America. Or I think it was possibly from Steve Jobs, who was the co-founder of Apple Computers. You know, the company that bought you the iPhone and the iPad and even this MacBook Pro that I'm currently doing this presentation on. Now, the reason why I chose this quote is because it stands out to me, and it's also incorporates what you have to be doing in life as well. So let me continue along and say the different learning styles are the key to learning and understanding more, or as I like to say, get an overstanding. And I've put a TM on that because, hey, I created overstanding. But you're going to see why this is very important, why learning and life go hand in hand. So what are the different learning styles? Well, before I actually break down the why learning and life go hand in hand, let me tell you about the different learning styles. So the first one we have here is reading, as in reading books, whether that's autobiographical books or a lot of these good self-help ones. But I like autobiographies like by Richard Branson or Sir Alan Ferguson. Yes, I don't want to say Alan Ferguson. I got his name wrong. I'm Arsenal supporter, not Man United supporter. Sir Alex Ferguson. But still, I mean, there's still some good information in there regardless. Or, well, it could be something along the lines of Entrepreneur Magazine or even Which Magazine. I know some of you people like to read Hello Magazine and OK Magazine, those ones as well. But those are not really the type of information that you really need to be learning if you want to improve and do better in life and so on. That's just gossip. You want to try and avoid the gossip where possible. And then there's blogs. I mean, I can recommend a whole load of blogs, but if I was to recommend the blog to read, I'd most likely recommend my own blog, which is found at AskDwayneKerr.com. And I'm 100% biased in that case. What are you going to do about it? It's my blog. And the same thing you can say, the next way to learn, one of the other learning styles would be audiobooks, being able to listen to information going in through your ears. I mean, as I said, there's quite a lot of the autobiographies, you can also get them in audio format as well. And I know, for example, I've even listened to, I think it was a guy called Dan Brown. Originally, when I listened to his was it Da Vinci Code? It was originally in the audio format, and that actually made me go out and buy a book. So sometimes you can see that there's other ways to consume the same information. But listening, that's another way. And then music. A lot of people I know that I like do like classical music, but ultimately, if you give me a chance, give me my gangster rap. Yes, I said I like gangster rap music. And I like to sing along in the car. So if you're in the car with me and I'm playing that music, hey, you're going to hear a few bars. Now, and the other thing would be radio. So radio, whether it's a podcast or something that's being broadcast directly into the car, or even if you've just got it on your iPhone or one of those type, or even your Samsung, they have these radio apps as well now. And the other way would be watching. So that would be either watching television or movies, because you can get information on movies, or you can actually just go to the cinema and sit down and watch a movie. I mean, but that's not necessarily learning, that's just taking up your time. But we're talking about different learning styles. There's also, for example, like live events. I run live events, whether it's webinars or teleseminars, or even actually physical events where people come and see in the room, speaking in front of audiences up to 500 people, even 5,000 people at that stadium in America. That was quite fun. Now, and another thing is online video. For example, like this one, which you're watching right now. This is online video, but I'm also going to strip the audio out and then also just have the audio part and then have it also transcribed. So this is going to be repurposed into all three modalities, all three learning styles. Trying not to use these fancy words where possible, but as you can see, different people learn things in different ways, and if it's possible for you to combine them, you can get even more out of, how would I say, a better education, or more out of the learning, if that's the correct way to word my words. Now, anyway, so why is learning important? Well, what does LIFE stand for? That's ultimately, what does LIFE stand for? Well, I've got an acronym here, and the first is learning and improving forever. So if you look at the acronym for LIFE, it is learning and improving forever. So that means you should be thinking about the different modalities. What can you listen to? What can you watch? What can you read? Thinking about those things to actually improve on your life. And how do they see it in Japan? Well, they have this term called Kaizen. And Kaizen is the meaning, it means to change for the better. And more specific, a philosophy that sees improvement in productivity as a gradual and methodical process. So that's the whole idea of making small little changes but getting better and better as you go along. I mean, the one thing that comes to mind is when you're on an airplane, when it's going from, say, for example, like when we're going from London to Jamaica, I went up and spoke to the pilot in the cockpit, and he said that he had put it on autopilot. And and he said most of the time on autopilot, it's actually just correcting the course, little corrections as it goes along, instead of because he says I think he said about 90% of the time that the airplane is off course, and autopilot just ends up putting it back on course. And he's just there to oversee it. So what else is there? Another way. So there's also a guy who's well known in the personal development industry or the human potential movement, and his name is Old Man Robbins. Now, Old Man Robbins, he liked the idea of Kaizen and life, and created what he called his own terminology, and he called it Kanai. And there's a lot of people around the world, I think in these organizations, I think was it the No Group, they actually go around, do it, and they actually use this Kanai as well. So it stands for constant and never-ending improvement. So you can see how all of those models are actually more or less the same thing. It's like a trifecta of the same thing, but ultimately leading to the same goal, even though they're displayed differently, whether it's the life model, the Kaizen model, or the Kanai model. So let me share another quote with you. A fanatic is one who cannot change his mind and won't change the subject. Now, I believe that one was said by, as I can recall, because I'm doing this all from the top of my dome, as we like to say, from my brain. I think that was from Winston Churchill, the great war leader for Great Britain, or I think it was Mahatma Gandhi, the great peace leader for India. Hey. So, how to improve? Well, you can use one of the models. Well, let me just give you a recap on them. So you could be using the life model, as I said, how which is learning and improving forever. How can you learn more? What can you do so that you can learn more, so that you can improve and continue doing it forever? Because if you're not improving, you're actually going backwards, because everybody else is moving forward while you're still stuck in the same place. Or Kaizen, the Japanese model, change for the better. What can you do which will make changes for the better, which will allow you to be better? Small little changes, whether it's, for example, I decide to, when I get up in the morning, drink water as soon as I wake up, so that it activates my system, and not only that, because your body can be dehydrated. Or even just walking around the block every single day, going for a walk, getting some actual natural light on your skin. Or whether it's the Old Man Robbins model, which is Kanai, constant and never-ending improvement. How can you constantly be improving and make that improvement never-ending? So, in closing, I'd like to say life is simple, but we insist on making it complicated, just like how I tried to make that quote complicated. And I even snuck another picture of me doing my strength training in that was in Thinking Gladstone Park in London. Yeah, it was in Gladstone Park. I obviously know because I'm going to be going there and doing some more running. Oh, and by the way, that last quote was by Jesus of Nazareth. I at least remembered that one. This is Dwayne. See you next time. Bye, my friends. Bye bye.